everybody, I'm Rock and Bite. I'm going to be doing a Geb build guide. This guide is intended for non-conquest, so you could probably get away with using the skills there, or even some of the items. So it's just going to be items that I believe are pretty much core on him. Damage alternatives, you probably won't see a lot of those. They'd be really for fun items, you know. And then, of course, defensive options based on the situation and enemy comp you are fighting at the time. So, just for the sake of conquest, we'll put like a Watchers up here. And then we'll also have, let's see, let's just go basic start, I suppose. We have like a Watchers, you know, some boots, and then get your potions here. It's just numbers here, don't matter. You guys get whatever you're able to afford with those. And then after that, for items that I would see to be core on Geb, now I would put boots up there. I guess I should put boots up there, because naturally boots are core on everybody for the most part. I don't know, it takes up a slot. Anyway, so shoes of focus. You don't need pin boots on Geb, because with Geb, you're all about them cooldown reduction, because you always want to have enough for your shield, because your shield is pretty much what Geb is. He is a shield, and he is his blank initiation, or his walk and initiate, whatever the situation calls for. The mana is also not too bad either, because it helps out a bit. He doesn't really have mana issues. Other core items that I would say for Geb would be breastplate, because pretty much as I just said, it is literally just cooldown, and the mana is not too important. After that, bearing in mind that this is intended for things such as arena, clash, siege, joust, all that good stuff. You would generally, I would say, you want to go for a Hide of the Urchin. I don't always do it, but you can. And these three things will pretty much make up your prime 3 items that you'll be wanting to get. You can do them usually in this order, but you can do them other ways if you want. Like say if you don't want Hide and you want to get finish your cooldown off, there are other alternatives to put here. But this is generally for the health it offers, up to 250 health, and the mana, they're relevant as I said before. The protections are very important, but I'm going to go ahead and pull these off there for the moment being. I should have done this in a better way. But anyway. As for damage-oriented items that you'd want to think to grab on Geb, these are primarily fun items, guys, so I'm just going to throw that out there. The items such as Soul Reaver, because you know when you know how you see me play my Guardian videos, I'm like, you know what? Soul Reaver time. Soul Reaver time. You can pretty much, you know, with your ult, you can take a large chunk of someone's health with Soul Reaver in your ult. It's actually hilarious. But you'd have to sacrifice your ult for that one person, otherwise it'll go on the Guardian, I suppose. I guess you could take a large chunk of their health too, but they're not the ideal target, is what I'm trying to get around at. You usually want to get their Hunter or Mage, or in some cases an Assassin. Not usually an Assassin, though. Other damage items, I have a feeling these are pretty much just going to be more so defensive items, such as like Void Stone, because it'll help out your Mage a little bit. I generally don't advise building it, but you could. And this other item, I guess you could probably pick up this. It would help out your ult, for instance, so you can get through all those protections that people would have just naturally scaling. This would be like really late game. Let's see, so we could throw another item up here. I'm hesitant to say if this is a damage item, but you can throw an E-Staff up there. You know, it gives you power based off your health and offers a good chunk of health. You guys know what E-Staff is. So, you know, you'd end up with, say if you just have your base health and then put that on there, you'd end up with, what, 98 power from it? So that's pretty sweet, but you'd have to be late game with it. Alright, defense. Geb, he's being so loud. Stop it. He's such a loud character. You know, the Earth is very loud and rumbles all the time. Anyway, defensive-oriented items. This is the meat of it, what it is to be a Guardian. I'm not going to put this up there or this up there because I already have it. But you're looking at items such as Mid-Guardian Male. The current meta, as it is pretty much favors Hunters as the supreme dominant rulers of the game. It's not uncommon to see 2 and 3 Hunters, and very rare cases 4 Hunters, but generally what I'm seeing myself, this is my experience. I'm seeing people, you know, go 2 and 3 Hunters and then throw a, you know, high power Mage in there, such as Scylla, for instance. You see a lot of Scylla now, and then a Guardian for their initiation and peeling capabilities. So this helps out quite a bit. It's not quite as much as I think we could use right now, but you could risk overloading the item if you put too much on it. Maybe some more options would be nice, but I digress. We're moving on. Over here, magical defense item. We have to throw one of these in here too. You can grab Pestilence, because Pestilence, you know, it's really good against all like everyone right now, because you got a lot of protections on it. It's 80, and then it still offers health. It's cheap price at 21.50, and the anti-heal is beautiful. Then the other side of the coin, I'm going to put this one at a split, so to speak. So I'll just throw them both on here. So it could be Pestilence or Bulwark, because you know Bulwark, not a chance, right? Offers a lot of survivability through 60 price, 20 less, but it has crowd control reduction, same health. And then the passive is, as it is there, is just more shielding for you, so to help you survive the burst that comes through. Another defense item. Let's throw another physical defense item on here. So you could always look at items such as Sovereignty, because it offers your allies more protections than it is For instance, it's 60 physical price, so that's pretty sweet. Though there is an item like this, you don't really have to. Don't even worry about the overcapping on CDR with this, because you want the passive on it. This would be like a late game luxury item. And if you don't get any other cooldown items, that's fine. You're overcapping by like what? Let's see, you overcap by 5%. Who gives a shit about 5%? So I'm gonna go and throw this on here. This is like a general all-rounder item, I guess. You just have to primarily worry about your health. You have to have a health to protection ratio because they're useless without each other, and you have to dig around in a lot of items to get them, such as like this. This offers high enough health. Its protection amount is nice. It's not amazing, but it's nice. This offers low health, but it offers health with protection, so that's always valuable. Same for this. Now this doesn't offer either, but does offer its passive of excuse me. Does offer its passive of CC break and then a stun, which is really good, and the cooldown reduction for you wanting to finish like your boots, breastplate of valor, each other stuff, and pick that up. It's good stuff. That's for if you get ahead or if you're at late game and stuff like that. All right, did I fill all these out? I do not think I filled all of these out. Anyway, moving on to relics. I would generally advise almost in all circumstances picking up Blink on Geb. It opens up the potential for you just to get in there up on like 5 enemies. The ones who don't jump away or roll away or be hunters, you'll just be able to stun them. And then, as always, which is the general Geb thing that everyone does, but I'll say it here for the sake of clarity, I suppose. You ult them, you wait for the duration to count all the way down to 1, and then you shockwave. Do not do it the other way around because your knockup does apply diminishing returns, but is not affected by it. The stun applies it and is affected by it. So if you do your stun and your knockup, the knock will be full duration, the stun will be for duration. You do it the other way around, your stun will be lessened. Okay, so you always want to do it that way. Now there are circumstances when it is better, but generally speaking, that's what is best. Up next here, another active you can look to pick up, Sprint. This lets your allies and yourself have a lot of mobility in team fights, just because Sprint is the go-to. Yeah, it's a huge radius. It is 40% move speed for 6 seconds. And it is immunity to slow sort of duration for yourself and them. And its cooldown is not too bad, being 140. Next up, we have, let's see, where did that go? Here it is. We have Shell. Shell serves instead of the mobility component. If they don't have a lot of slows, which they generally will, but sometimes they don't, or sometimes they don't have enough for it to really make a difference there. Someone else will pick up the Sprint. You can pick up a Shell. This offers massive protections for your team, so it's more survivability for your team and yourself. It offers, this is the best thing on it, I'd say, would be that 15% damage taken. You take less, your team takes less as well, so just overall, it is an amazing active. It has a low cooldown, it's beautiful. Another item we'll put on here will be a situational item. It is no way even close to as good as Sprint. This item here, you pick this up if they have characters with healing or if they have excessive amounts of lifesteal. It can help. It does slow them by 40% for 5 seconds and lowers them by 65%. Its cooldown is 150 as opposed to 140, and it is directly hard countered by Sprint, which removes the slow effect. Now it doesn't remove the anti-heal effect, but the anti-heal effect there isn't super amazing anyway. You'll generally want to pair this with Pestilence or other such healing anti-healing items, like have your mages picking up Divine Rune, or the better alternative would be Brawler's Beast Stick on the physicals. Consumables are basic as far as you would go here. You pick up, your wards and your other shit right here. I'm gonna throw I'll throw a mix pot here just for the sake of having all of them on here. All right, so we'll save those, and we'll go over to abilities because usually I forget to do the skill leveling on these, but I remember this time. All right, so let's say you start the game and you only have access to 1 point, so you're going to pick up naturally. You want to pick up Shockwave. How the hell do I put that on here? Because your Shockwave does like 90 damage, I believe, at rank 1, and it's a big cone, so you're going to have a lot of trouble missing that. The cool thing you can do with Shockwave, I didn't do it in the last video, I don't believe, which would have been the Geb video anyway, if that is the last video, where you knock them up and you just slip under them real quick, which is hilarious for one, but also very useful for a second. God help them if you have no Wheelix on your team, because they're not going to avoid that shit. Next up after that, I'd say pick up your shield, and then you want to pick up your rollout, pick up another Shockwave, and then naturally you're going to get your ult here because you need access to your ultimate, which is 15% and then the 1 second stun on a semi-low cooldown. For ultimates these days, 90 seconds is pretty nice. Usually reserved for warriors, assassins, and stuff like that. After that, you will pick up your Shockwave because remember you're rushing it down. Now this is a decision time at level 7. Do you feel you need to put another point in this to get that 50 more health on the shield? If not, then you could always go for your Shockwave for the extra damage, which would be the rank 4 damage, which would be 300. So generally, I'm going to say go for your Shockwave, but you can go for your shield. So after that, you level all this up, and then you want to go for your next point in your Cataclysm. Now the damage is cool, but you're not really leveling it for the damage. You're leveling it for the extra stun. There's 0.2 seconds more, so it's 20% longer stun duration than rank 1. So that's beautiful. So I'd pick that up for you. After that, you want to pick up another point Shockwave. Then you go for your shield, Cataclysm, shield, roll out to Cataclysm, and then finish your rollout off, and then your Cataclysm. So overall, the priorities will be, of course, your ultimate, your shockwave, your stone shield, and then your rollout. That way, you see your rollout, you use that just for mobility. It does have a lot of base damage on it, but it has to be fully powered up for that to happen, and it's not the easiest thing in the world to hit. Generally, you're just going to use it for that one-off immediate hit on someone point blank to apply that 30% slow on them. It's a short duration because you're not leveling it, but the slow is not what you're necessarily going to want over, say, the extra shockwave damage or the more shielding, because as I would say, Geb is his shield. Geb is here because he cleanses CC and applies a shield to your allies so they don't have to take as much damage. Alright guys, I guess that more or less packs it up. Hopefully I didn't forget anything this time. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I should have a Kui build at some point in the future. It probably might be a couple days or maybe a week at tops. But thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you so choose. And also let me know what you think of this and this style of video. Guides and stuff, because I have a lot of game knowledge. Apparently I'm failing mechanically because I don't know how to use my keyboard anymore and the mouse is failing. That aside, I want to thank you guys once again for watching. Goodbye.